Well, the Detroit Tigers will not win out. They dropped the series finale to the Yankees yesterday. We'll talk about that and more all today on Locked On Tigers.
You are Locked On Tigers, your daily Detroit Tigers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of Locked On Tigers. I'm, of course, your host, Scott Bentley. Today is Thursday, April 10th, 2025. Thank you so much for making Locked On Tigers your first listen every single day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts, including YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. That one felt real good. Yesterday's didn't, and I almost said something. I was like, oh, that was kind of a lame one. That one felt real good. Welcome in, welcome all. Happy Thursday, everybody. The Tigers lose to the New York Yankees by a score of 4-3. They do have a comeback that is snuffed out at the very end. They almost send this game into extras, but alas, they do not. Drop the finale and lose, like I said, 4-3. The record on the year is now 7-5, the same record as the New York Yankees after this ball game. That snaps a 5-game winning streak for the Tigers, though it is still a series win, and they have now won every single series since getting swept on opening weekend. They get swept by the Dodgers in LA and have taken at least 2 of 3 in every series since. Now, that sounds super dramatic. They've played 3 series since then. Okay, so like this is not, oh my goodness, they're 35-5, but it is not only a nice start to the year just in general, even including the series against the Dodgers, but it's a nice recovery. It's a nice bounce back. It's really encouraging to not let that opening weekend just completely derail the start to your season or your season as a whole, and kind of just get your feet back under you and go out there. And if you would have told me after starting off the season 0-3 that the Tigers would be sitting at 7-5 after the Yankees series, I would have taken that and ran 10 times out of 10, because that means that they would go 7-2 in their next 9 games, which is obviously where they're at, even with this one. So yeah, like for me, as you can tell, it's really hard for me to be upset here. That's my first thought after this game ended. Obviously, a little bit of disappointment that the comeback fell short. We'll talk about that, obviously, throughout the show, but really hard for me to be too upset here. We weren't going to win out, unfortunately. But in all seriousness, like this was, again, you still took the series. Max Fried is really good. Really good. And you made it close at the end on top of that. So I am obviously never pleased with a loss, and there's plenty of stuff we're going to focus on and talk about in areas of improvement and whatnot. But what's the old adage? Like every baseball team wins about a third of their games, loses about a third of their games, and it's the difference between the good teams and the bad teams is what you do with that last third. There's some exceptions to that rule, as we saw last year in Chicago and as we've seen twice in my lifetime in Detroit. But I think that's important to remember too. So what went wrong in this ball game? The offense as a whole is a really easy place to start. As I said earlier, Max Fried is really good, and he absolutely dominated. 11 strikeouts in 7 innings with no runs. That is remarkable. No walks either. 5 base runners in 7 innings with 11 strikeouts of shutout ball is fantastic. He has been really good this year. Like this is not like, some random Joe Schmo. Like we've had that complaint in seasons past, right? Where it's like, the other team's going to call up some random dude we've never heard of and he's going to go 6 shutout. This is not that. Max Fried is one of the highest paid pitchers in all of baseball. He got an absolute bag this winter. He deserves it. He's very good, a front line, like top of the rotation starting pitcher, and has a 1.56 ERA now 3 starts into 2025. He's also a lefty, which matters because the Tigers lineup is not as good against lefties, or at least we're anticipating it to not be as effective against left-handed pitching this year. So far this season, honestly, they've been pretty decent in that regard. But that's something that over 162 we kind of expected. That's why we wanted them to add more right-handed bats and whatnot. Like that was something we kind of anticipated might be a weak point for the team this year, and boy, was the offense a weak point in this ball game. Obviously, you don't want to get shut out. Not a great day. You got dominated. Okay, I'm not trying to tell you anything otherwise. But Fried has already done that to a couple of teams this year, and will continue to do that the rest of the season, and probably, if he stays healthy, the rest of his contract. Very good. Sometimes you just shrug your shoulder. You say your shoulders, not just one shoulder, and you tip your cap and say our offense is not talented enough to go toe to toe with that, which is certainly something you can point to the front office about and talk about. Should they have done more in the offseason? Whatever. We are 12 games into this season. Okay, I want a lot more of a sample size than one game when it's 35 degrees out in the first half of April against one of the better pitchers in the American League. So we'll see. Colt Keith, if we want to talk individuals that struggled, certainly had another rough day at the office. That's 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts at the plate, as well as an error that cost the team. I saw some people that were like, he cost the team the game. I mean, there's a chance. But butterfly effect and all that. Who knows how the bottom of that inning goes if the run totals are different, and when the Yankees decide to move on from Devin Williams, who's up when, et cetera, et cetera. There's a lot of stuff that could happen, but he made an error that cost the team runs, and they ended up only losing by 1. So I understand the frustration. This is also like, today's what, Thursday? Have we talked about a Colt Keith defensive lap in every single episode this week? Trying to think back. The only one I'm questioning is Monday's episode, because that would have been about the White Sox weekend sweep. And I'm not sure we talked about it then. But besides that, right, the fact that I'm like kind of on the fence, and there might be a chance that we're 4 days into the week and we've talked about a defensive breakdown by him every single day is a testament to how rough it's been. And you point to the Mariners game that they lost, the only Mariners game they lost in that series. Colt Keith made an error in that one that would have prevented at least 1 run and may have gotten the Tigers the victory as well. So something needs to change there. I think it's as we said earlier this week, I don't necessarily know for certain if Colt Keith is going to go down to AAA or what's going to happen when Glaber and Vierling come back. The one thing I can promise you is, even if Colt Keith does stay on the roster, he is not going to be playing second base when Gleyber Torres comes back. That much I can guarantee you. His days at second base are numbered only to how many days left Gleyber Torres has on the injured list. Let's keep the ball rolling here. Got a few more things I want to talk about on the side of things that went wrong. We'll talk about the few things that went right in this 1-run loss, and then we'll talk stuff. There's some injury updates and whatnot. Got to fill you in on. We'll do all of that right after this. All right, everybody, welcome back. Got to talk to y'all about our friends over at Just Ingredients. When it comes to fueling your body, quality matters. And that's why Just Ingredients is changing the game with clean, high-quality products designed to support better health and get peak performance. Just Ingredients offers an NSF-certified line of protein powder, electrolytes, and pre-workout, along with creatine and more, all rigorously tested to ensure they're free from substances banned by major athletic organizations. Just Ingredients has also partnered with 2-time MVP Bryce Harper, who trusts their NSF-certified sports line to fuel his training and recovery. There is so much that I could say about this product. The fact that when they first sent it to us, and all the hosts to kind of try out and whatnot, my roommate and I were like, yeah, whatever, like just another thing they're sending us. And that quickly changed. That we tried it and now we love it. My roommate has read the label and is fascinated with all of the good things that are inside of it. And it tastes so good. And you can use it in so many different ways. Obviously, shakes and just like mixing with milk and water and whatnot. But like we have a host on Locked On that is like making a dessert out of it, right? Like it is so good for you and tastes so good. So visit justingredients.us and use code LOCKEDONMLB for 20% off. And for more wellness tips, you can follow just.ingredients on Instagram. All right, everybody, welcome back here. Segment 2, Locked On Tigers. Appreciate y'all for tuning in, as always, making us your first listen every single day. Shots to everydayers that do tune in every day. We, of course, will be back tomorrow on an off day, previewing you for the weekend and talking a little bit more kind of big picture stuff. So before the break, we talked about Colt Keith. Obviously, he continues to struggle, and I think, man, like I think right now, if I had to guess, I would say he is probably sent down to Toledo. I think it's really hard to justify picking anybody else. Kreidler gets the like center field pass, and that's like pretty much the only reason for him. But outside of that, I just have a really hard time believing that when this team is healthy again, assuming there's not some miraculous turnaround here, that Gleyber Torres is not going to be back at second and Colt Keith is not going to get sent back down to Toledo. But we'll keep an eye on that. We'll talk about that a little bit more in depth tomorrow. Dylan Dingler had back-to-back dropped pop-outs behind home plate in this game. That was kind of brutal. I love Dingler. And like he's been so great offensively so far this season. I think he's called some good games. I think he's really solid defensively back there. I think he's very well prepared and kind of level-headed and exactly what a pitcher wants out of a catcher. But obviously, like, what am I going to say? Like, he needs to not do that. Like, no kidding, dude. Obviously, right? Like, there's not even really any analysis here. Just two brutal plays that, cost the team some outs in an inning in which they ended up scoring runs in, and would have been nice to have some outs as that went along. Like Brebbia, like it's even hard for me to be like, oh, he was awful. He had 3 outs, all scrapped because of defense. He had the 2 pop-outs by Dingler. Now, granted, that was the same batter, but like still, that's at least 1 out. And then you have the Colt Keith play as well. Like, if he has an even remotely reasonable defense behind him, or I guess in front of him in Dingler's case, then, that inning probably looks a whole lot different. So I'm not really ready to judge him based on that inning of work either. Riley Greene, 1 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. It's such an odd thing talking about Greene at this point in the season, because it's so all or nothing. Like it is genuinely like a strikeout or a really big hit, and there doesn't seem to be too much in between so far, and we need more in between. We need all the in between that we can get. We need to not have as many swing and miss and as much strikeouts, as much swing and miss and as many strikeouts as we've seen from him so far. I think he'll make adjustments. I believe in the player wholeheartedly. So like, I'm not going to overreact too much on, April 10th to high strikeout totals so far this season, but it's something that has kind of been an Achilles heel of him for his major league career so far. So I think it's worth bringing up at the same time and not just, like ignoring. What went right in this ball game? Jack Flaherty goes 5 1/3, 3 hits, no earned runs, 3 walks, and 9 strikeouts. His ERA in the year is now 1.62. This was a weird start because it was very effective, but not very efficient. And that is something that happens sometime in the beautiful game of baseball. And that's why we love it, because there's so many different ways to be really good. There's so many different ways to struggle and screw up. It's just, it's a beautiful metaphor for life. But this was a really interesting start, because when he was hitting his spots, he was dang near perfect. Like, That is impressive work. I think he had 7 strikeouts through 3 innings. Like he was on one. But he also was spraying the ball all over the place. A lot of command issues, especially early, first couple of times through the lineup. And that at bat, he got pulled from the game on that Goldschmidt at bat. I don't know exactly what the original call was, but he made Goldschmidt buckle his knees with a slider low and away, 0-1 count, shook off whatever Dingler called, and then threw another breaking ball, and Goldschmidt tagged it down the left field line. That is, again, I don't know what the original, maybe it was just placement, or maybe it was, that was the original pitch anyway. I'm not trying to like blame Flaherty wholeheartedly for that. But that was a frustrating end to a really good outing for me, just because I feel like that was totally avoidable. Just don't go back to the well, dude. Like, don't. And again, it wasn't the exact same pitch, exact same spot, but it was close enough for me where I kind of frustrated me a little bit. But this was an exceptional outing. He struck out Bellinger 3 times. He got Judge once. Was absolutely locked in with swing and miss stuff. It's just a matter of the ball going where he wanted it to go. It was a lot of 3-ball counts, even when he was getting strikeouts. He was working, 2-2, full count. And that's just something that obviously, throughout the course of the season, he needs to tighten up. But this early in the year, I'm just encouraged that he has the swing and miss stuff that we know he has. I don't really take too much stock in the rest, especially in what ended up being a shutout performance. So looking for him to just be a little bit more efficient, but obviously very, very effective. The comeback in the 9th inning was fantastic. It kind of goes without saying. Tigers were down 4-0 going into the bottom of the 9th and end up, the tying run was at second and the winning run was at the plate when the final out was made. They just seem to take such great at-bats with the game on the line, man. Like, I wish we could trick them. I wish, like when remember in the cartoons growing up when you would see like Tom and Jerry and they'd spin the clock forward or backwards to trick the other one into thinking it was a completely different time than when it actually was. I think we should find a way to do that for the Tigers lineup. Like, can we pay the scoreboard operator to make it look like it's the 9th inning every single time and just hope that their memories are like, obviously in the first 3 innings, first time through the lineup, you're not fooling anybody. Probably even second time through the lineup, they're going to know. But who's to say after the 7th inning, you don't just lie and say, oh, look, we're headed to the 9th. And we just, pretend with our graphics package and whatnot that it's the 9th, maybe catch some people off guard. The hiccup with this plan is AJ Hinch is just so locked into everything that's going on and he wants to be in control of everything that happens on the field that there's no way he's falling for that. But maybe he can be in on it too. I don't know. This is we'll have to workshop it. For real, though, great at-bats. Zach McKinstry is somebody I want to give a ton of credit to. 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs in this game. He has been phenomenal. I feel like I have not done a good job at my job here because I have not talked about how good he has been enough. This guy is a plus base runner that is a plus at 6 different positions defensively and plays all of them on a consistent basis and has been hitting. The most impressive thing I saw from him in that at-bat in the 9th inning was he saw 2 changeups low, spin low. We gave him a ton of heat for on this show the last couple of years because he always swings and misses at him. He was spitting on him. He took those pitches, waited till he got something in the strike zone, and delivered it to right field. I thought that was unbelievably impressive. I have been blown away by how good Zach McKinstry has looked. And if there was any, still doubt about whether he was going to make it through at least the first couple of months of the season, I think that is subsided. I think it's pretty safe to say he is here to stay and absolutely deserves it. He's been a valuable part of this team so far, especially with all the injuries the Tigers have. They want a guy that can play a ton of different positions and put the ball in play from the left batter's box. So shout out Z-Mac. Fire up chips, baby. Want to talk about Torkelson. Goes 1 for 3 with a walk in this game. Thought the walk was the best at bat of the ball game there in the 9th inning. But even his hit, man, like he just looks so much quicker to the ball. Like, go watch that at bat and then watch him face any type of fastball in his major league career, like in the past 3 seasons. And it's a night and day. Like, he just absolutely tattoos that sinker. And look, like, Max Fried is elite. He kept the ball on the ground the entire game. That's what he does. And the thing is, he also gets strikeouts. That's what makes him so good. And like, yeah, so you have to take your hits where you can. And that's why, Torkelson had the ground ball hit through the infield. Malloy had a line drive that was off the third baseman's glove. Riley Greene had a single that was on the ground but went up the middle. Like, you got to take those where you can get them against a guy like that. And I was just very, very impressed with how Torkelson looked yet again in this ball game. His season stats, he's now hitting .311 with an OPS over 1,000 on the year. We will gladly take that. Let's talk about stuff. Put a bow on this ball game, talk about some injury stuff. We'll do that right after this. Got to talk to you today about our friends over at FanDuel. The NBA playoffs are almost here, and your Detroit Pistons are going to be playing some playoff basketball, baby. FanDuel is giving new customers an incredible way to get in on the action. Right now, when you join FanDuel and place a bet for $5, you'll get $250 in bonus bets if that bet wins. I love how FanDuel makes it so easy to bet, whether it's picking my favorite team or diving into player props. From three-pointers to steals to assists, FanDuel has so many ways to bet on your favorite player props. Plus, after every tip-off, you can combine live prop bets into a same-game parlay for a chance to win big. So don't miss out. Head to FanDuel.com and claim your $250 in bonus bets today. All right, everybody, welcome back. Your third and final segment of Locked On Tigers. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. As always, let's talk stuff. Tyler Holton in this ball game, I think he had one bad pitch. Like, he's still the dog. I trust him more than pretty much anyone else in this pen. The fact that he was able to get out of the previous inning when you have second and third one out and get out of that without allowing a run is a testament to how good he is. Broke like 3 bats in an outing. He's remarkable. He has an incredible cutter. He has 6 pitches. And in today's day and age of relief pitching, that's a rarity. He's unbelievable. He's totally fine. He threw 1 fastball, tried to throw like kind of a get me over, steal a strike fastball, and Ben Rice destroyed it. He's had a great year, Ben Rice. And I think is very quickly going to kind of rise up the ranks of, national media attention, especially playing for the Yanks over there. So yeah, man, like I don't have an issue with Holton. I'm not mad at the performance. He's really good, and just, 1 pitch got crushed in this outing. That's all there is to it. Carpenter not in the lineup against the lefty. Some people complaining about that. I'll tell you what, I'm on the front lines with you. Okay. I understand this specific outing. Couldn't care less. I'm okay. Max Fried, as I've said a lot, is really freaking good. Okay. I agree that he should face more lefties than he did last year. He already is. He has 2 homers against them. He is on pace to like triple or quadruple the amount of plate appearances he had against lefties last year. He is getting his opportunities. You still have to pick and choose, though. And you still have to understand that he is weaker against lefties, albeit not as weak as, maybe some people thought he was when he wasn't playing at all. But you got to pick and choose your battles. This is not the game to prove you that point. That's all I'm trying to say. This is not the game you look at and go, he's got to play against lefties. Look, I don't think it would have made too much of a difference today. That was an unbelievable performance on the other mound. Justin Henry Malloy in the last at bat, I was talking to one of my best friends about this at bat and kind of his approach there. Hindsight's 2020. I want to start off with that. I think that's very important to always mention when having baseball conversations. It's really easy to look at a result that doesn't go your way and say, wow, he should have done that differently. Well, like, okay, I guess that's fair. But in the moment, whatever. In that instance, I feel like it's probably fair to ask him to be a little bit more passive early and to take some pitches. You're up 1-0. Unless you are sitting dead red and that is the pitch that you get, I don't really need you swinging at that pitch. I think that's probably one. And for someone who is so like passive and does work so many counts, I was kind of surprised by the aggressiveness, which is also kind of the counterpoint to myself. If I want to play devil's advocate, it's like I trust his decision making when it comes to what pitches to swing at and not so much that I'm not going to be too mad at that aspect of it. Now, if you're going to swing, you got to put more of a barrel on that ball. That was a duck to end the rally there. But I don't know. I think that in that instance, even if it's a strike, fine. It's a fastball inside. It's now a 1-1 count, and the winning run is still on base. I think it's probably safe and fair, I think, to ask him to be a little bit more passive there. Devin Williams, man, has struggled so far as a New York Yankee. His ERA is now 12, and he does not make it out of this ball game. I don't know. That's going to be really interesting. I am intrigued on how, because they have some dogs back there, right? Like Weaver's a good pitcher, man. Like they have some dogs in the back end of that pen. I wonder how long Boone is going to guarantee Williams, those game ending and save situations. We'll see how that plays out. Obviously, one of, if not the best changeups in the sport. Devin Williams has still had 2 strikeouts in both of the outs he recorded were Ks. Like he's uber talented. Just a heck of an adjustment there from I don't know, like if that's why, like big adjustment from Milwaukee to New York. I'm not really sure, but something to keep an eye out for. Ryan Kreidler struggles again. Again, the second that a center fielder is healthy again, that's not named Ryan Kreidler, I think he's probably off the roster. Just completely looks overmatched and overpowered at the plate. Injury update: Jake Rogers, it sounds like, is going to be out for about a month, which makes me want to curl up in a ball and cry. That is according to AJ Hinch himself, not the me crying part. That's myself. Well, you got a pretty, what appears to be a solid, depth catching option called up yesterday in Tomas Nido. But this is going to be the Dylan Dingler show, baby. Like, Nido's going to get his opportunities for sure, but this is Dylan Dingler's backstop until Jake Rogers comes back. He's going to get a majority of the outings. He should as well. I think he deserves it. And I'm hoping that he can continue to develop and kind of take those steps forward and prove that he belongs and he deserves to have that role given to him. But that is what I'm expecting going forward. And for at least the next month, it sounds like that's what it's going to be. Another injury. My goodness. All right. Well, you're 7-5, going into an off day today. As you're listening to this, we'll have an off day show for you tomorrow, and we'll preview the weekend against the Minnesota Twins. Always important, those interdivision games. The Twins, at the time of this recording, are 3-8, a brutal start to the 2025 season for the team up north there. You're going to have Reese Olson, Jackson Jobe, and Casey Mize. That's the cool thing about this rotation, man. Like, Mize pitched and threw a really good outing. You turn over and then go to maybe the best pitcher in baseball, and then Jack Flaherty, who has a 1.6 ERA. And now we're giving Reese Olson, elite swing and miss pitcher, the number 1 pitching prospect in baseball, and then Casey Mize again. Fun times, man. We'll preview that a little bit more in depth tomorrow. Thanks for making Locked On Tigers your first listen every single day. Shout out to the everydayers that do tune in every day. We, of course, will be back tomorrow. In the meantime, check out Locked On MLB Game Night, okay? It's a new show. They live stream over at Locked On MLB's YouTube page, so go subscribe there, check it out. But it's live streamed after the games end every night, all season long, literally 7 days a week, year-round. You can get the local analysis on a national scale. So you have a couple of hosts that kind of do a round-robin thing. I think Crosby's doing a lot of that. I know Jake Rietma, our Locked On Tigers postcast host, is in the mix there as well. Go check those out. It's absolutely awesome. Gives you kind of an all-encompassing jump around the league, talk about the biggest stories in baseball from the day. And you get to see some post-game reaction videos from the local hosts around there as well. So again, MLB Game Night on Locked On MLB, YouTube, or wherever you listen to your podcast. Peace and love. Going to therapy's dope. I'll catch y'all tomorrow, baby. Go Tigers.